There you're looking first into the Mets dugout. There's George Foster facing you. Keith Hernandez now with the mustache. The umpires will be Randy Marsh behind the plate, Bob Davidson at first, John Kibler at second, and Bruce Fremming at third. How about that? The Stars are out tonight. A salute to Ray Knight, who's having a tremendous season. Boy, his cup overflows. He's hitting .317 with 8 homers and 31 RBI. The lineups for the Cubs. Dunston at shortstop. He's a local boy. Here go the Mets onto the field. There's Rick Sutcliffe. He'll be pitching tomorrow. Limbering up in the dugout. Dunston at short. Matthews in left. Sandberg at second. They're showing you the defense. We're carrying a shared feed. Arnie Harris is with us upstairs in the booth. We pick up the New York Mets feed. They're showing you their defense, as you see. The Cubs lineup: Dunston at short, Matthews at left, Sandberg at second, Moreland in right, Davis the catcher, Durham at first, Shea at third, Mumphrey in center, and Sanderson 3 and 4. The pitcher, you're looking at Sid Fernandez, one of their many outstanding starting pitchers. Their lineup, now you get the Cubs lineup. Fernandez, you know, there's Dwight Gooden has lost more games than any other starter on the Mets. Would you believe that?
Looking at the records, Harry, you have to believe that this is the best starting rotation in the league. Everybody is at least 7-2, except Gooden, who's 8-3. And there you see one of the most talented men on this staff, Sid Fernandez, a very hard-throwing left-hander.
They got 2 left-handers in that rotation with Ojeda, who's going to pitch tomorrow, and Fernandez. Their lineup will be Mookie Wilson in center field, Wally Backman at second, Keith Hernandez at first, Darryl Strawberry in right. So the first 4 men hit left-handed. Gary Carter, the catcher. George Foster in left. Ray Knight is at third. Kevin Mitchell playing shortstop. So the first 4 hitters are left-handed. The next 4 hitters are right-handed. And Sid Fernandez will be the pitcher. He has won 7 and lost 2. We've given you the umpires. 1 game underway. Cincinnati in the first game of a doubleheader at Riverfront Stadium is leading Atlanta 4-3 in the top of the 5th. Fernandez, a big, strong left-hander who used to be with the Dodgers.
And he can be overpowering, averaging a little under 9 strikeouts a game. He's had control problems in the past, but that hasn't been his problem this year. He's got a great fastball, and you have to lay off the high fastball.
Dunston, who has 70 passes here, he said he couldn't get any more. He's from nearby Brooklyn, where he was a great high school star. Fernandez pitch. Slow curve, a beauty. And he is out in front 0-2.
This is a pitch that Fernandez couldn't get over the last couple of years. Apparently, he's getting everything over the plate this year, and he will buzz that high fastball by you if you don't lay off it.
Struck him out on a bad ball. Dunston, on 3 pitches, struck out.
Here's the one pitch where you can get in a lot of trouble against Sid Fernandez. You got to make him bring the ball down. You cannot catch up to that high fastball.
Oh, I tell you, he really chased the bad ball. That was over his head. Here now is Gary Matthews. The Sarge doesn't swing often at those kind of pitches. Very disciplined, takes a fastball inside. A lot of Cub fans are on hand, hoping to see Chicago win. Ball 2 is high. John and Laura Futter here on their honeymoon. 2 balls, no strikes. Swung on, a high pop fly. Strawberry a long way to run, makes the catch. Boy, they got a couple of guys in that outfield in Strawberry and Wilson who can cover a lot of ground.
Strawberry gets a good break on this ball. You can see him on the run. Wilson and Strawberry run very well. George Foster in left field does not run particularly well, but he does swing the bat.
With 2 out, here's Ryan Sandberg. Sid Fernandez was born in Honolulu. He's only 23 years old. Big 220-pounder. Originally with the Dodgers. He was signed by the Dodgers in the 3rd round of the free agency draft. There you see Gene Michael. There's a high pop foul. And the count is even up at a ball and a strike. Michael is called Stick. That's been his nickname down through the many years because he is so thin. Sid Fernandez throws high. 2 balls and a strike.
This is a slimmed down version of Sid Fernandez. When he was a farmhand with the Dodgers, he had a tendency to put on weight. He's probably 30 pounds less than he was when he was a younger man in the Dodgers system. The Dodgers were worried about that. One of the reasons why they traded him over here. And what a great addition to the pitching staff made by the Mets.
Boy, they say the Dodgers don't make many bad trades. There's a line drive. Come on there. A great effort by Mookie Wilson. Holy cow. Look at Sandberg. Can't believe it. What a jump he had to get on that ball to make a one-handed shoestring catch. And as you see it from another angle, we move into the bottom of the 1st with no score. Harry Caray back at Shea Stadium. It's official, I understand, that Tony La Russa is out as manager of the Chicago White Sox, and Doug Rader will be the interim manager starting tonight. Whether somebody else is to be named as the permanent successor remains to be seen. You know, talking about the Dodgers not making bad trades, how about this one? They traded Sid Fernandez, who is only 23 now, and in his 3rd year with the Mets.
639.
Along with infielder Ross Jones to the Mets for pitcher Carlos Diaz and Bobby Baylor, a utility infielder. Baylor's no longer with him, and Fernandez has just come into his own now as a fine young pitcher.
The Dodgers bring up a lot of good pitchers, Harry. Both John Franco and Ted Power, the heart of the bullpen for Cincinnati, are both former Dodger farmhands.
Here's Mookie Wilson hitting .305. He tried to bunt his way on, and he bunts foul. 4 homers and 11 RBIs. Mookie Wilson.
Wind is blowing in tonight at Shea Stadium, in over the center field wall toward the Met dugout, which is on the first base side. So the outfielders can cheat a step or 2 in.
Wilson last year hit .375 against Cub pitching. There's a curve right in there. Scott Sanderson trying for his 4th victory of the year. He has a mark of 3-4, but a very respectable earned run average of 3.09. Hey, struck him out. A foul tip that Jody Davis held on to. 1 out. Here's Wally Backman.
Good breaking ball by Sanderson. You can see completely fools Mookie Wilson.
Paul Volkert of Carlindale, Illinois is here. Former bat boy of the Cubs, Stu Davidson, celebrating a birthday out here. Backman, a left-hand hitter, batting .343 for the year. No homers and 9 RBI.
This is Davy Johnson's only platoon position. Second base, Tim Tuffle, a right-hander, plays against left-hand pitchers, and Backman against the right-handers, and he is a tough hitter.
There, he jammed him with a fastball. Sandberg throws him out. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Hernandez, the third consecutive 300 hitter in our lineup. He's batting .301, 4 homers, 29 RBI. Boy, you know, the Mets last year beat the Cubs 14 out of 18. Here are the reasons. Mookie Wilson hit .375 against Cub pitching. Wally Backman hit .356 against Cub pitching. Darryl Strawberry hit .378 against Cub pitching. Gary Carter hit .354 against Cub pitching. George Foster hit .326 against Cub pitching. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Strawberry on deck. There's a drive, left field, going to be caught. Gary Matthews right on the spot. They go out in order. At the end of 1 inning, no score. Top of the second with no score. Only 1 other game underway. Cincinnati leading Atlanta. 4-3, Atlanta batting in the top of the 5th. Moreland will be leading it off.
Leading off in the second inning for the Chicago Cubs, number 6, right fielder, Keith Moreland.
Moreland hitting .275. There you see his stats. Fernandez getting ready. A high pop foul coming back. The fan upstairs. Moreland last year against the Mets hit .318, 2 home runs included, as the Mets beat the Cubs 14 out of 18. Foul ball back under our booth this time. 1 went above the booth, 1 went below it. We're going to have about 48,000 people on hand.
Kevin Mitchell, playing shortstop for the Mets, is more an offensive shortstop. The Mets have started him at 5 different positions. So there's some concern about his ability to handle the shortstop spot, but with his bat, Davy Johnson had to find a place for him in the lineup.
Fouled it back again. Moreland getting some pretty good cuts. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the second. Cubs are at home against the Mets Friday. Fouled it out of play again. Moreland's had about 5 swings. Fouled off every one of them. The Cubs play here again tomorrow afternoon and Sunday. Then in Philadelphia Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. And back home to play the Mets over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He struck him out. That's 2 strikeouts. Watch it again.
Another high fastball by Sid Fernandez. And once again, he is bringing it tonight.
Listen to these stats. Here's a boy broke in when he was 18 years old. In the Pioneer League, he won 5, lost 1, earned run average 1.54, struck out 128 men in 76 innings. The next year, he struck out 137 in 84 innings. Then 209 in 153 innings. Boy, you talk about credential. That evens a count, a ball and a strike. Last year, his first full season, he fanned 180 in 170 innings. How can you trade a guy with those kind of stats? But the Dodgers did it. That's because they have so much pitching. There's a high pop fly. Easy out. Strawberry. He's retired 5 in a row.
And the last pitch showed you that Sid Fernandez is becoming a pitcher. He just thrown the fastball by Jody Davis, took a little something off the slow breaking ball, and he got him to pop it up. And with each passing game, Fernandez is showing that he is a man to be reckoned with on the mound. He was a young, hard thrower when he first came to the Mets. Now he's become a pitcher.
2 men are gone. Here is Durham. Fastball in there. He threw that one. Sidearm. Now they have a boy, 23 years old. Stan Jefferson, a local boy, playing in the minor leagues. They think it's going to be another Strawberry. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. That might bring rain. That's how high it is. And Mitchell makes the catch. 6 in a row retired by Fernandez. We go in the bottom of the second, no score. Caray and Steve Stone as we go in the bottom of the second. Here's Darryl Strawberry to lead it off. Strawberry hitting .286. 8 homers, 34 runs batted in. Now the pitcher it is. Fastball over the outside corner. You know, you match man for man at every position between the Cubs and the Mets, and you can understand why the Mets are where they are. They got a heck of a ball club in every spot. 0-1 the count. And it's a little bit low. Let's pause here for station identification.
This is your sports station for the Quad Cities, WQAD-TV, Moline.
Here's the pitch a little bit low. 2 balls and a strike.
Strawberry has been slowed by some hand injuries this year, but the batting average is starting to creep up. He's got the most power on this ball club. Davey Johnson says that he can hit him farther than anybody, and he's got some great power to left center field.
And straightaway center. The pitch. The high pop foul out of play. Boy, he's just got $1 million swing. You know, looking out there, you would have to say the only 2 Cubs who could play on the Mets would be Dunston at short and Sandberg at second. Three balls, 2 strikes. He walked him, and Strawberry is on. You know, they went on in getting Bob Oida. They really stabilized their starting rotation. This kid Mitchell came out of their farm system. He's only 24. And he's such an outstanding hitter, they have to find a place to play him. He's the only man in the major leagues to have started now this season started the game in 5 different positions.
Strawberry's stolen 13 bases. He's been caught stealing 3 times. This is a good hit and run situation. Carter will take the ball to right field.
Gary Carter. The pitch is high. Carter hitting only .243. But he hits what you call a hard .243. 12 homers, 44 RBI.
He's second on the ball club with 6 game-winning RBIs.
Double play ball to short. Out at second and out at first. 6-4, 3 and out. You know, Darryl Strawberry leads the major leagues. He has the most game-winning RBIs in either league. 10.
Taylor-made 6-4-3. Carter doesn't run very well. And for the moment, the infield has got Sanderson through what looks like an easy second.
2 men are out. Here's George Foster. Hitting .260 with 10 homers. Fly ball, short center, may drop. Going out, Sandberg! A magnificent play. Holy cow. You'll want to see that one again. Here it is.
Take a look at Ryne Sandberg, perhaps the best second baseman in all of baseball. Watch this one.
We'll be back now. At the end of 2, it's no score. Carey back in New York. We're going to the top of the 3rd. No score. Here's Ron Shea. There's the stats on him. And the pitch a little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. Cincinnati still leads Atlanta in the first game of a doubleheader, 5-4. There's a high pop foul out of play. A souvenir for somebody. St. Louis and Philadelphia tonight. Cardinals are tied with the Phillies 1-1. Montreal has jumped out in front of Pittsburgh 2-0 in the first. Here's Ron Shea. He jammed him with a fastball. It may be playable. Carter dives so he does not fall into the dugout and makes the catch. Nice play.
Not much Gary Carter can't do behind the plate. Watch this one. Getting a little help from some of his mates, and he makes the catch.
Boy, Gary does more commercials, I suppose, than any ball player, including Reggie Jackson. You can't turn on a radio or a TV without seeing a Gary Carter commercial. And with good reason. He's articulate, he's bright, he's a great star. 1 out, nobody on. Mumphrey takes it high. A ball and a strike. There's a trade for you. Neil Heaton traded by Cleveland to the Twins for John Butcher. Pitch a little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike. 1 out, nobody on. There is no June the 15th trading deadline this year. Fouled it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There's Guy Hoffman in the Cubs bullpen, finding out where the good restaurants are here in New York.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled it out of play. I'm surprised they didn't make Arnie Harris buy a ticket here tonight. He's just sitting here in the booth. As we carry a split feed. Ball 3. That's the longest count he's had. Gray balls, 2 strikes. That's Jay Baller out there. Ball 4. There goes the perfect game. And here's Sanderson.
Number 21, pitcher Scott Sanderson.
Jay Baller on the bullpen, swinging a golf club.
Well, if nothing else, he'll work on his short game here.
One on, one out.
Ray Knight in very close at third.
Expecting the bunt. Fastball in there for a strike call. Now watch the way Sid Fernandez wheels the ball from the side. He throws left-handed, a lot like Dennis Eckersley of the Cubs throws right-handed. Directly from the side, wheeling it in. There you see a confirmation of the firing of Tony La Russa. There's the ball bunted, the only play, first base. Look at George Foster, the left fielder, coming in to cover third. You can tell this is the last year on Foster's contract.
Good bunt by Scott Sanderson. With everybody charging, he deadens the ball right on the grass. Carter comes out to make the play. And Harry Gene Mock said it, and he said it best. Give me 25 players in their option year, and I'll win a pennant for you.
Yeah, everybody tries to qualify for another big contract.
I haven't seen George Foster hustle that much since I came up with him in Fresno, California in 1969.
Well, he doesn't want to give up that chauffeur-driven limousine they gave him.
Can't blame him.
Here's Dunston. The first pitch swung on, easy out. Foster is there to retire this out. And we go into the bottom of the third, no score. Carry back at Shea Stadium. We go into the bottom of the third with Ray Knight ready to lead off. What a year he's been having. And I think I talked about this last night, about the strength of the character of Davy Johnson as the manager of the Mets. He had to buck heads with his general manager, Frank Cashin, in a number of instances where he had a definite idea about a player that was in opposition to what the front office thought. Each time Davy Johnson prevailed, and each time he's been proven right, and this is one of those times.
He didn't feel that Howard Johnson had proven that he could play every day in the major league, so he wanted some insurance at third base, and his insurance policy was Ray Knight. And talk about cashing in the dividends. Ray Knight is having one of his career years, and he's even improved defensively for Dave Johnson.
Here's a curveball low and outside. Well, Ray Knight now with a happy marriage and a new family. His wife, you know, is the famous golfer, Nancy Lopez. Knight. Fastball outside. 2 balls, no strikes. We're in the third. Scott Sanderson, a handsome young man. What's Ballard doing out there now? Playing cart ball. Foul ball right over this way. Don't flinch, Steve. I'll protect you.
I've seen your hands. I'm going to go for a glove.
2 balls and a strike. Ray Knight with 8 homers this year. He takes a fastball. The count is evened up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out, 3rd inning. No score. Scott Sanderson. Curveball fouled out of play.
Well, to paraphrase you, Harry, this man's had more perils than Pauline. This is the first year he hasn't had surgery out of the last 3. Had his elbow operated, his shoulder operated, a leg operation, had a vertigo problem, but this year he says he's 100%. Had a chance to work out this winter. He was fine physically when he reported to spring training, and he put together a great one for Davy Johnson.
Yeah, his golf game's improved, too.
Well, he hopes to have a good year, Harry, get a big contract, and make as much as his wife next year.
That's going to be hard to do. The pitch. He struck him out. There's Sanderson's good overhanded curveball. Strikeout number 2.
Best pitch of the game by Scott Sanderson. Take a look at it. Just disappears. Completely fooling Ray Knight. And that's his hard-breaking ball.
Here's Kevin Mitchell. 24-year-old rookie. Originally an outfielder.
Physically, he reminds you of a young Bill Madlock. He's very strong. Hits the ball to all fields.
There's a pitch a little bit low. He's 5'11", 210 pounds. Out of San Diego, California. Curveball in there, a strike call.
In the minor leagues, all he did was play outfield, and he was surprised when Davy Johnson started shuttling him around. But he's played well enough at all different positions to keep his bat in the lineup.
There's a line drive, 1 hop right to Dunston. He throws for the out. Sean showing the home folks that great arm of his.
Tough hopper for Dunston. It comes up on him. You can see he stays with it. The infield is very hard here in New York, and he just guns it across to get him.
Everything else is very hard here in New York, too.
Don't forget expensive.
Oh. Oh.
You gonna send back for some more meal money if we stay in a couple of days? I know that rainout really hurt you last night.
I'm gonna borrow a little bit from Arnie. Two men around, nobody on. There's only one thing more expensive that I could think of in New York City, and that's to bring somebody with you. Doing it alone is bad enough. Fastball high. No score. And Fernandez is a good hitting pitcher. Just 23 years old. Fouls it out of play. Matt Swan of Rockford, Illinois.
Sanderson has got his good stuff tonight, getting everything over the plate and throwing his breaking ball consistently for strikes.
Two men around, nobody on. He struck him out with a beautiful curveball. Strikeout number 3. 1-2-3, nothing across. Dwayne will be joining Steve in a moment. Harry Caray from Shea Stadium, where at the end of 3, there is no score.
New York, Scott Sanderson has been perfect, and Sid Fernandez not much worse.
Boy, I tell you, you look at Sid Fernandez. Last year he was 9-9, and you wonder how that could be when the National League hit just 170 against him, and he had such a great strikeout to innings pitched and innings pitched to hits allowed ratio.
Gary Matthews to lead off the top of the 4th. No hits in the ball game. And a fly ball deep to right center field. Darryl Strawberry calling for it. Back on the track, and he makes the catch. Well, that is a mystery, Dwayne, but like so many young pitchers, Sid Fernandez would get in a position to win a ball game last year and make a bad pitch, and he'd lose the game. But slowly but surely, he's matured into a good pitcher, and this year, he's making the pitches that get him out of trouble instead of into trouble.
About the only thing he hasn't done consistently for the Mets is complete games. He had 3 last year and is just coming off his first complete game of the year his last time out.
Sandberg flied out to Mookie Wilson to end the first inning. Wilson making an outstanding running grab right off the grass in right center field. Two-0 count on Rhino. He had 249 lifetime against the Mets. Hitting .300 this year against left-handers. Fernandez is a tough one. And he falls behind 3-0. Sid has walked 1. Jerry Mumphrey last inning. He struck out 2. Fernandez averaging a little under 9 strikeouts a game. Fastball for a strike. Gary Carter is a comfortable catcher to throw to. Pitchers just don't look wild with him behind the plate. He sets up well, gives him a good target, and he's got great hands. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
And Fernandez quick with that pitch.
Well, you have to love his fastball. He's been overpowering with that since he came into professional ball. And now he's just learning that slow curveball and the control of the slow curveball. If he gets that over consistently, he's not going to be fair. Line drive, right field, base hit. The first hit of the game goes to Sandberg. That'll bring up Keith Moreland, hitting .296 against left-handers this year. And lifetime .336 against the Mets. That's the highest batting average of any Cub hitter against New York. When Moreland struck out in the second inning, Mookie Wilson was playing him very pronounced to right center field. Now he's shifted over pretty much to straightaway center, but still a big gap in left center field for Keith. Fernandez is not difficult to steal against, and Gary Carter has had his problems throwing the ball lately. The Mets have only thrown out about 17 or 18% of the runners who have tried to steal against him. So Carter's been having his problems. Fernandez about 1.4 seconds to home plate. Fastball misses up and in.
Well, it's amazing when you look at that statistic, Steve, with Carter behind the plate and realize that they've thrown out only 16 base runners all year with 70 stolen bases against him.
Davey Johnson says that Gary Carter is very frustrated by that statistic and that the pitchers have not been giving him a lot of help. Let's see how Gene Michael decides to run this situation. Fernandez does not have a very good move to first. So it looks like it's set up for a running opportunity. It's shaping up as a low-scoring game. The Cubs might want to play for 1 run here. Infield back on the left side.
You know, the frustration that Carter feels over that caught stealing and stolen base statistic may be one of the things that causes some of the problems he's had throwing.
Well, if you're conscious of a pitcher coming slowly to home plate or not holding runners close, you try to get the ball away more quickly. Sometimes you lose the grip on it. Sometimes it drops out of your glove. Bud Carter, one of the best throwing catchers in the league. And Fernandez falls behind for the second straight hitter. It's 2-0 on Moreland. He looks down to Ruben Amaro.
They say Carter bounced a few throws down to second base against Montreal, but he won't tell you that he's having trouble throwing, will he?
No, we talked to him yesterday. You and I both standing there, and he said, I'm throwing great. The arm's terrific. Ball 3. This is a big series for the Cubs. They would like to show New York that they can play with them. They would like to show themselves that they are a quality ball club, and who better to show it against than the best team in the National League. Ball 4, he walked in. Cubs have runners at first and second, and when Fernandez gets in trouble, it's with the base on balls. And now Keith Hernandez comes in, giving him a few words of encouragement. will bring up Jody Davis. Flied out to right field in the second inning. Jody hitting .246 against his former mates. And .258 this year against left-handers. Outfield straight away and fairly deep. What wind there is blowing in toward the Met dugout. Ball gets away from Carter. Runners will move up. That will probably be a wild pitch, although Carter unhappy with himself for not blocking it.
Here's another look. Carter among the best at helping a pitcher out in this situation, but he couldn't control that one. That's the second wild pitch of the year charged to Sid Fernandez.
Cubs have runners in scoring position. Sandberg at third, Moreland at second. A 0-0 ball game. The Cubs have the only hit. Leon Durham on deck, and it's early, but they're going to pass Jody Davis. Third walk issued by Sid Fernandez. So Davey Johnson showing you that he thinks it's going to be a close ball game, and he doesn't want the right-hander to hurt him.
It's an interesting move, obviously, with the left-hander Durham coming up. They feel they're playing the percentages, but when you have a pitcher out there who's in a bad groove in terms of his control, you're really putting his back to the wall to intentionally load the bases.
And some left-handers, as we've seen this year, have trouble getting the ball over to left-hand hitters when they face an almost entirely right-hand hitting lineup. The Bull popped up to end the second inning. Hitting just .200 against lefties this year. Swing and a miss. High fastball by Fernandez, and if you're going to hit him at all, you have got to lay off the high fastball. It rises starting about the letters and then comes up about chin high. Most hitters just can't catch up with it. St. Louis and Philadelphia tied at 1 in the fourth inning. Montreal on top of Pittsburgh 2-0 in the third. Swing and a miss and another high fastball. And the Bulls in a hole 0-2.
There's that pitch up. He struck out Dunston with that pitch in the first inning.
And as you look at that stat, Leon Durham's had his problems with the left-handers. Long drive to right field. Darryl Strawberry back. This is going to score a run. And the Cubs are on top 1-0. RBI number 30 for the Bull, and a good piece of hitting.
Turned out to be a good at-bat for Durham after getting behind 0-2. He stayed right in there as Fernandez dropped down a little bit on him, and Durham hit the fly ball to score the run.
Keith Moreland moved up to third base. Fernandez did not get that fastball as high as he or Gary Carter would like. And that'll bring up the Penguin. Shea popped up to Gary Carter in the third inning. Breaking ball misses. 1-0. Shea hitting .333 against left-handers this year. And Fernandez is a type of pitcher that he should get a good swing at. He likes to hit fastballs. Didn't mean to swing and fouls it back. Count evens at 1-1. Ronnie hitting .249 lifetime against the Mets. And there's a good look at Sid Fernandez. 6'1", 205. That's the trimmed down version of Fernandez. He's about 30 pounds lighter than he was when he was a Dodger farmhand about 5 years ago. Two and one count on Shea. Outfield straight away. They're not playing him very deep. George Foster about halfway in left. Apparently they think the wind is going to hold down the fly balls. Ray Knight at deep third base. Line drive to left field. Base hit for Shea, and the Cubs are on top 2-0. He gets a fastball and drills it for RBI number 17.
At the plate.
It is the RBI single, as Steve pointed out, a fastball again. And Shea ripped it into left.
Cubs have runners at first and second with 2 outs, and Jerry Mumphrey up. He drew a base on balls in the third. Mumphrey hitting from the right side, hitting .299 lifetime against the Mets and .286 against left-handers. Fouls this one off. You can tell that Fernandez has a lively fastball because the hitters are fouling so many balls straight back. You think you see the fastball, at the last instant it rises, and you just get under it. And you're looking at what Jody Davis sees looking in at Gary Carter. Line drive, base hit to center. Jody Davis coming around third. Mookie Wilson up and throwing. Here comes the throw. He's out. Good throw by Mookie Wilson, but the Cubs get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 2, and at the end of 3½, Cubs on top 2-0. Scott Sanderson finds himself with a 2-run lead. An outstanding play by Mookie Wilson. Davey Johnson told me before the game that Wilson's arm was feeling pretty good, and he shows it.
He charged the ball, got to it quickly, and here's the throw. 1 hop to Gary Carter as Jody tries to bowl him over. He does, but Carter hangs onto the baseball. Given the fact that Wilson has had some shoulder problems, the Mets have to be very encouraged with that play.
And you have to ask yourself at home why a third base coach would send a slow-running Jody Davis, but you have to consider all the situations. Scott Sanderson was coming up next, so you figure it's worth a gamble. They know the history of Mookie Wilson, the fact that he had shoulder surgery and has had a bad arm over the last few years, and they wanted Mookie Wilson to show them that he can throw, and that he did. And Mookie Wilson to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. He struck out swinging to start the ball game. Sanderson showed him a steady diet of slow curveballs. The Mets were 9-0 against the Cubs in Shea Stadium last year. A 10-game winning streak dating back to 1984 in this park. Wilson hit .375 against the Cubs in 1985. Line drive to center field. Mumphrey coming over. It's a base hit. He gets the ball back in, and the first hit of the game for the Mets.
For the Mets, second baseman,
Sanderson with a fastball, and Mookie Wilson lined it back into center. You know, you can always tell a club having a good year when the opposition goes out and scores a couple runs. That team comes back, and if they don't score 2 runs to tie, they at least score in the same inning. It's so important to do that.
Wally Backman with a 7-game hitting streak, as you can see, hitting very well over that span. Backman grounded to second base in the first inning. Wilson, a good base runner. Stolen 11 bases. He's only been caught once. He gets a very good jump. There's a good bunt. Nobody's going to get it. Base hit for Wally Backman.
Boy, this shows you just how valuable that bunt can be when you need base runners, and Backman rolling it up that right side. Some indecision there between Sanderson and Durham. Who's going to pick up the ball and who's going to cover first? So Backman bunts his way on, and just like that, Scott Sanderson finds himself in trouble.
For a left-hander, once you drag the ball by the pitcher, then it's a foot race. And if you can run it all, nobody can beat you to first. And the Mets have runners at first and second, nobody out, and Keith Hernandez up. Hernandez with 4 home runs, 29 RBIs, flied out to left field to end the first inning. Cubs held him in check last year, hitting just .222 against Chicago. Darryl Strawberry on deck. And a big crowd here whooping and hollering in Shea Stadium. Fastball misses down. Sanderson starting to take a whole lot of time on the mound. He coasted through the first 3 innings. Strawberry drew a base on balls, but was erased on a double play off the bat of Gary Carter. Sanderson faced the minimum through 3. Breaking ball misses up, and the count goes 2-0 on Hernandez. These Mets can put pressure on you up and down that batting order. Good speed on the bases for New York. Wilson at second, Backman at first. Ground ball in the hole, base hit. Here comes Wilson. He scores a run. The throw to third, cut off by Dunson. And the Mets have cut the lead in half. RBI number 30 for Keith Hernandez.
Well, the Mets proving that they are a very good ball club after the Cubs pick up 2 on the top of the frame. They've come right back with 3 straight hits. Dunson a good job of climbing the ladder to cut that one off. Backman over to third, and Hernandez has an RBI single.
The Cubs will trade the run for the double play infield halfway. Strawberry drew a base on balls in the second inning. Hit .378 against the Cubs last year. He's got an outstanding stroke, and he's very strong. Jody signaled for a fastball. He wants it away. If Strawberry tries to pull it, they might get the double play. Hernandez does not run well at first. And he misses low and away, ball 1. Gary Carter on deck. Outfield very deep for Strawberry. Found a straight change, straight back. Davey Johnson's done an outstanding job with his ball club. He's paid his dues. He managed for 3 years. He said the most important thing he did was 1 year he was a roving instructor for the Mets, went up and down their farm system, teaching all facets of the game and getting familiar with the personnel the Mets had up and down their system. There you take a look at Gene Michael, Johnny Oates to his right, Billy Connors to his left. Strawberry fouls it off, and the count goes to 1-2. Not many soft spots in this batting order for Scott Sanderson.
No place to take a breather up and down the lineup. With the exception of the pitcher, maybe. That's about it.
Strike 3 called. Great breaking ball by Sanderson. Strawberry couldn't pull the trigger.
Here's good use of that off-speed breaking ball. He dropped it right over for a strike. Randy Marsh calling Darryl Strawberry out on strikes. Heck of a pitch by the Cub right-hander to get a very tough hitter.
Carter grounded into a double play in the second inning. Hit .354 against the Cubs last year. 12 home runs, 44 RBIs. Despite the fact the batting average is down, He gets the big hits for the Mets. 6 game-winning RBIs. He's second on the ball club. Ducks out of the way of a slider. There you look at the RBI leaders. Chili Davis having a great year for San Francisco, and Mike Marshall an outstanding year for the Dodgers. And slowly but surely the Dodgers are climbing back into contention in the West. Kind of forgot about them with Houston and San Francisco getting off to the good starts.
That's a big mistake.
But they are not that far back. Another off-speed pitch misses the outside corner. And like most power hitters, Carter looking for one thing here, that fastball inner half. It's a cool night here in New York. You see Sanderson blowing into his hand. And he's got to make a tough pitch behind Carter, 2-0. Ball 3.
He's really in a hole now. The difference of being out in front against Strawberry. He threw him a great breaking ball to get him. But he's in the exact opposite situation here with Carter.
George Foster on deck. High ball deep center field. Terry Mumphrey has room. The run will score. Mumphrey gets the ball back in, and the game is tied. RBI number 45 for Gary Carter.
The 3-0 pitch. They challenged him, and Carter hit the fastball to straightaway center. So the Mets have come right back to tie.
Talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers, they're even 500, 4 games back of Houston. They've won 7 of their last 10 and 2 in a row. So the Dodgers are starting to put it together. Foster popped up to end the second inning. Last year hit .326 against the Cubs. He fouls this one straight back. Good cut by George Foster.
He may have had a pretty good pitch to hit right there, and the Cubs are fortunate he fouled it right back.
George hit 21 home runs last year with 77 RBIs, the average at .263. And the Met fans were still not happy with his performance. I guess they read a whole lot about that $2 million contract and that limousine. They expect him to do a whole lot more, and right now he's on a pace to hit close to 30 home runs. 10 already with 29 RBIs. High breaking ball, no contact. 0-2 on Foster. Came up with the San Francisco Giants, later traded to Cincinnati where he became a star. And the Mets got him, paid him a lot of money. He's been in and out for them. Plays a very conservative left field, and he's got to do it with the bat if he's going to do it. Down the line in left field, but curving, foul. With all the talent the Mets have at the double and triple A level, what do you think they'll do with Foster when this season's over?
I think they'll be very tempted to let him go. As much talent as they have. You see the foul ball down the left side again. There's a tendency maybe to hang on to a guy like that, especially after you've had such a successful year, if it projects out to be the kind of year the Mets apparently are going to have. But I wouldn't be surprised if they let him go.
0-2 count on Foster. Stays alive, fouls it off. Well, they've got a good one. Young gentleman at Jackson right now by the name of Sean Abner. They figure he's a couple of years away. A man by the name of Stan Jefferson, who's in AAA, has enormous talent. They're viewing him as their center fielder of the future. 2 out of the last 3 years, the New York Mets have won the minor league system of the year. The Yankees interrupted that string last year, but the Mets have a lot of talent.
They were hoping that Abner might be only a year away, but now the thinking is he might be a couple years away from helping them.
Mets have always had a good, solid farm system. They use that farm system to make a lot of trades. They got Bob Ojeda from the Boston Red Sox for 4 young farm hands. Davey Johnson said they really didn't figure in his plans, and they got a very good left-hand pitcher in return. He's 7-2 for the Mets this year. Foul back this way, and the count holds 0-2. Ray Knight on deck. When the Cubs had the good year in '84, they dominated the New York Mets. Last year, Mets finished second. They dominated the Cubs, 14-4 against the Cubs. That's the best they've ever done in a season series against any team. Strike 3 called, good fastball, but the Mets get 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, and they leave 1. And at the end of 4 full innings, the game's tied at 2.
Just a reminder that tomorrow night's a big night at Northbrook Rink in Northbrook. The Stan Makita All-Stars take on the USA National Deaf Hockey Team. Some of the All-Stars that will be playing include Dennis Hull, Phil Russell, and Doug Wilson. Big night tomorrow.
Scott Sanderson to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. He's sacrificed in the 3rd.
Sanderson's been great at that this year. He is perfect in the sacrifice department. 5 for 5 now.
Count evens at 1-1. The appeal to Bob Davidson. He says no. Well, the rainout did one thing. Jamie Moyer will not face the Mets on Sunday. The Mets are 22-6 against left-handers. Not a bad record. 1-2 count on Sanderson. So for Jamie Moyer, missing them is like, well, if you have a chance to fight Marvin Hagler, you'd probably like to fight Mrs. Hagler. He's going to go to Philadelphia and start on Monday instead of here on Sunday. Strike 3, he got him.
Well, it could be a nice development because there's no reason to have a youngster come up and not be in a situation that's conducive to success. So if you have an opportunity to give him a better shot, why not? That's exactly what the Cubs are doing.
And the Cubs are going to start 3 right-handers against the Mets. It's tough enough to beat them in this ballpark anyway. But throwing a left-hander against them with a 22-6 record is not good anytime, but especially with a youngster like Jamie Moyer, just trying to get his feet wet in the major leagues. Dunstan's 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the 1st inning, fly to left in the 3rd. Breaking ball misses inside. Dunstan hitting .250 lifetime against the Mets and .269 against left-handers. He says he's not as comfortable yet against left-handers as he is against right-handers. Breaks his bat and pops it to shortstop. Kevin Mitchell makes the play. Quickly, 2 up and 2 down.
It's interesting to see Fernandez drop down sidearm not only to left-handed hitters but right-handed hitters to give them a different look occasionally. He dropped down that time to Dunstan. Speaking of the Phillies, Steve, they made a trade today. They got Mike Madden from Houston for Rocky Childress. Both those pitchers, at least for the time being, will pitch in the Pacific Coast League.
Well, a left-hander for a right-hander. Madden's always had a good arm, just hasn't been able to put it together for the Astros. The Sarge has played some pepper with Darryl Strawberry in right field, flying out to him twice. And he swings at the high fastball, evens the count at 1-1. Matthews hitting .333 against left-handers this year and .296 lifetime against the Mets. Outfield around toward right center. Good fastball for a strike. Both teams have 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. Cincinnati defeated Atlanta 6-4, that game a final. Breaking ball just misses the outside corner. Toronto on top of the Yankees 1-0 in the 5th. Baltimore leading Boston 4-1 in the 4th. Detroit did not score in the 1st inning. Now they've moved to the 2nd against Milwaukee, 0-0. Keith Hernandez coming over, and he can't make the catch. Bob Davison saying it's out of play. And Hernandez thinking the fans interfered with him, and he can't believe they would do that in his home park. Let's watch it again.
Let's take a look. Well, that's a tough reach for Hernandez. I'll tell you, this Sid Fernandez can really run the ball in on these right-handed hitters. He's jammed a number of them tonight.
That fastball misses up, and a full count on Matthews. Fernandez has struck out 3. He's walked 3. Given up those 3 hits. Ball 4. Walk number 4. If the Mets do hang on to win it this year, they will do it with a little help from their friends. By that I mean that Montreal and St. Louis really helped this Met ball club. Montreal traded them Gary Carter. St. Louis traded them Keith Hernandez. And those two fellas, along with some good farm material, have really helped the Mets. Montreal made a pretty good trade. They've got Floyd Yeomans, who's done a great job, Herman Winningham, Mike Fitzgerald, and Hubie Brooks, who's all everything offensively this year. But Carter has really solidified this pitching staff. Nice stop by Carter. Sandberg 1 for 2, singled and scored a run in the 4th inning.
Here's a look at the save by Carter. Pickup, preventing the wild pitch.
Short lead at first by the Sarge. He's not going anywhere. 2-0 on Sandberg. And Gary Carter wants to tell Fernandez to get his arm up. He's dropping down a little too much. When you do that, the ball stays up, especially on the breaking ball. There you take a look at the grip. You have to stay on top of that curveball to get it to go down. Good fastball for a strike. Change misses low and away. Let's pause for station identification.
This is your sports station for the Quad Cities, WQAD-TV, Moline.
Three 3-1 count to Sandberg. Ball 4, he walked him. So after 2 out, 2 walks. And Gary Carter out to have a word with Fernandez.
That's one area that Fernandez at times has had some problems with, even this year, when they feel that his control may be a little bit better than it has been in the past. His ratio of walks to innings pitched is still a little bit high.
You took a look at the Mets dugout. That was pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre sitting next to Davy Johnson. Stottlemyre's done a very good job with his pitching staff. He's got a lot of young pitchers, a couple veterans. I guess you'd have to be considered a good pitching coach when you have Dwight Gooden on your staff. He can make everybody look good. Moreland 0 for 1 with a base on balls. And he looks at one inside. Keith hitting .296 against left-handers this year. Fernandez has fallen behind with a breaking ball. Moreland probably looking for the fastball, and he'll try to take it to right or right center. Fernandez does have a lively fastball. Fastball misses up. 2-0.
Moreland showing the patience of a good, solid veteran hitter here. With a couple men on and 2 outs, he very well could have gone after that first pitch, but he took it. He knew that he wanted to go up there looking for a good pitch to hit.
Jody Davis on deck. Fouls that fastball straight back.
He liked that pitch.
The best arm in the outfield belongs to Darryl Strawberry in right field. Davy Johnson was projecting Darryl Strawberry eventually moving to left field when Stan Jefferson comes up here. He figures Jefferson might be the best defensive outfielder of all the Met personnel. Fly ball center field. Mookie Wilson coming over and calling for it. And he makes the catch. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left. The end of 4 1/2. The game's tied at 2.
Moving on to the bottom half of the 5th inning. For the Mets, third baseman, Caray and
It's the bottom third of the order in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Knight, Mitchell, and Fernandez to face Scott Sanderson. Scott has struck out 5. He's walked 1. He's given up 3 hits and 2 runs.
Here's a guy who's really turned it around for the Mets this year, Ray Knight.
Good slider over the outside corner.
He's 4th in the league in hitting, and this spring he was wondering exactly where he fit in, if he fit in at all in the Mets' plans.
He's fit in very well in the lineup of Davy Johnson. High, tight fastball. Count evens at 1-1.
Bill Robinson, their hitting instructor, had a very frank conversation with him this spring. He told him that unless he made some adjustments, he may not have a job. And he did. One thing, he's a little more upright at the plate and hits the ball with a little more authority than he has the past year and a half or so.
Tapped out in front of the plate. Jody Davis on it in a hurry and makes the play.
I thought Knight had been more or less serving the ball into play the last year or so, but he's hitting the ball hard again this year.
Serving
Not that time.
Serving it into play. He didn't marry a tennis player. He married a golfer.
Shipping it into play.
Kevin Mitchell grounded a shortstop in the 3rd inning.
This guy has quite a story, doesn't he?
Well, hitting .327 this year, and look at the Mets' home record. And the good news for the Mets, they play 33 of their next 47 games at home. Bad news for the National League East. Davy Johnson saw Kevin Mitchell all the way through the system. Breaking ball misses outside. He's a powerfully built young man, 210 pounds, about 5'11". And he's got enormous power, as good as anybody on the ball club except Darryl Strawberry. Down the line, but foul. By his own admission, Mitchell didn't think he'd make the ball club in the spring. He thought he was ticketed to AAA. But Davy Johnson liked his versatility, and he's shown it by starting him at 5 positions and playing 6 positions in all. Drive to left field, well hit. Gary Matthews back. He can't get to it. It's off the wall. Mitchell around second base, takes the turn and holds right there.
He shows us some kind of strength there. He hits the ball over Matthews' head. The ball curves back the other way on Matthews. So a double for Mitchell.
When the Sarge threw up the glove, it looked like, well, I'll throw up the glove here and hope it falls in it. But it did curve back around and off the wall. Sid Fernandez, who struck out swinging in the 3rd inning, steps up. Shea is back at 3rd. You got to be careful of the bunt here. And there it is. Ron Shea in quickly. And he throws him out, and on the play, Kevin Mitchell moves to 3rd.
You know, regarding Mitchell, a couple years ago, here's another look at the sacrifice bunt with Mitchell going over to 3rd. The Mets were very frank with Mitchell as well. They just told him they didn't like him much as a person. Bill Robinson spent some time with him and was very frank. And then this winter, Mitchell played baseball with Tony Pena, and Pena was a very positive influence on him in turning his attitude around.
He had a personality transplant over the winter.
That's exactly what he had. And he's a very positive force on the Mets now, they say.
Mookie Wilson 1 for 2, singled and scored a run in the 4th inning. With Wally Backman on deck. Mets trying to break that 2-2 tie. Ron Shea in very close at third to try to take the bunt away. Good breaking ball for a strike. Mookie's been splitting some time in center field with Len Dykstra. It's really a toss-up. Dykstra might have the edge defensively, but they like Wilson's bat a little better. It would appear that perhaps next year one of them would be used as trade bait. Fly ball center field, but Jerry Mumphrey right there. He puts it away. Out number 3. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. Through 5 full innings, the score is tied at 2. We head into the top of the 6th inning, and Jody Davis to face Sid Fernandez.
We have our lineup of Cub Network stations with us tonight in Peoria, WYZZ, in Rockford, WTVO, in Moline, WQAD, in Quincy, WGEM, WFFT in Fort Wayne, KCRG in Cedar Rapids, in Dubuque, KDUB, and in Des Moines, KDSM, and in Ottumwa, Iowa. Nice to have you with us tonight on KOIA. First time in. Good to have you aboard tonight from New York.
1-0 count on Jody Davis. Flied out to right field in the 2nd. Drew an intentional walk in the 4th inning. Thrown out at home plate on a fine throw by Mookie Wilson. Ties him up with that fastball inside. The count goes to 1-1. California 1-0 over Kansas City in the 2nd. Cleveland and Minnesota no score in the 3rd. Seattle 4-0 over the White Sox in the 3rd inning. Detroit and Milwaukee no score in the 2nd. Baltimore 4-1 over Boston in the 4th. And a 2-1 count on Jody Davis.
Indians and Twins traded pitchers today as well, with Neil Heaton being dealt for John Butcher.
Fouled it straight back. You can tell by the graphic that Fernandez, with his 5 walks, has thrown a whole lot more pitches than Scott Sanderson. Mookie Wilson a couple steps in right center for Jody Davis. They figure, all things being equal, nobody's going to really get out in front and pull Sid Fernandez. He throws that fastball about 90, 91 miles an hour. That ball straight back. Count holds at 2-2. In the National League, St. Louis on top of Philadelphia 6-1 in the 5th. Montreal 5-0 over Pittsburgh in the 5th. And a final, Cincinnati defeated Atlanta 6-4. And here at Shea Stadium, the game's all tied at 2. The Mets have out-hit the Cubs 4-3. It's been an errorless ball game. He pops it up. Strawberry on the dead run. And he makes the catch.
See, Hernandez and Backman start out there, but Strawberry has it all the way, crossing into foul territory.
Davey Johnson mentioned something interesting about the farm system. When he was a roving instructor, he said he went and evaluated all the managers they had at every level. And he said he didn't like to see his managers emphasize winning too much. He felt in the minor leagues, you emphasize instruction. You teach the players how to play the game so they'll know it at the major league level. Pretty good philosophy, and it's worked for the Mets because they've brought up a lot of talent over the years.
Yeah, he felt that winning is a byproduct of proper player development.
Leon Durham 0 for 2, 0 for 1 with a RBI sacrifice fly, and he looks at a breaking ball. He's in a hole. 0-2. Not real good news for the Expos right there. Expos come into tonight's game 10 games in back of the New York Mets, and they cannot afford to lose Tim Raines. Fouls it off. The Bull knocked in run number 30 with that sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. Pretty good piece of hitting against Sid Fernandez. He fell behind 0-2 and then hit a fastball to right field. Fouls that one straight back. You can see the way Gary Carter's set up. He wants that fastball up a little higher, preferably just about helmet high. Leon's been swinging at the high fastball all night from Fernandez. And 0-2, you want to throw something just out of the strike zone. You've got the hitter in a hole, and you try to take advantage of it. Good curveball, strike 3. It buckled the knees of Leon Durham.
Well, that's quite a pitch by Sid Fernandez, especially to a left-handed hitter.
Third baseman, Shea.
Durham going to his knees, taking strike 3 call on the curveball.
Strikeout number 4 for Fernandez, and that'll bring up the Penguin. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI, knocked in run number 17 with his 4th inning single. Say the only Cub hitter they play slightly to pull. Takes a high breaking ball, 1-0. Infield very deep on the left side. Towering fly ball to left. George Foster coming over. Everybody running. But the ball falls into the stands.
Boy, Fernandez has been so good tonight, not only getting the Cubs to chase that rising fastball, and then, of course, the great curveball he threw to Durham, but he's been able to run the ball in on right-handed hitters, jamming them and getting them to pop it up. He got Moreland when he jammed him to end the 5th inning. That ball ran in a little bit. Moreland flied out to center.
You know, there has not been a ground ball yet. Fernandez throwing everything in the air. I was interested to see if Kevin Mitchell could handle shortstop. He's had to catch a pop-up, and he could certainly handle that. Let's see if we can get a ground ball before the night's over. 1-2 count on Shea. It's unusual. You tell all your pitchers to keep the ball down, get the ground ball out. Fernandez goes exactly the opposite. He throws that rising fastball as everybody hitting the ball in the air. Just missing down, and the count evens at 2-2. Shea getting a chance to play a little more, has that average knocking at the door at 270. And is starting to knock in some runs. Strike 3 called. 3 up and 3 down. 5 strikeouts for Fernandez. We're through 5.5 with the score 2-2.
Your attention, please.
We head into the bottom of the 6th. Steve Stone along with Dwayne Statz and Arnie Harris, the producer-director, taking you through the middle here in Shea Stadium. A good pitcher's duel, a 2-2 ball game. And Wally Backman to lead off the 6th inning. He's 1 for 2. A bunt single back in the 4th.
Steve, he gives a lot of credit to Bobby Valentine, now the manager of the Texas Rangers. When Valentine was here, he really helped Backman a lot develop his bunting, both for base hits and for sacrifices. He led the league last year with 14 sacrifice hits, tied with Nolan Ryan of Houston.
We've talked about it a lot, but it's invaluable, especially if you're not going to hit a lot of home runs. You've got to be able to lay the ball down. You play on a natural field here, and in Wrigley Field for that matter. And it sure helps a little man if he can bunt, get on base, sacrifice, move the man over.
And it certainly helped set up the Mets' 2-run 4th inning.
Banks as if to bunt, takes a breaking ball up high. The Cubs have 59 home runs this year. It's time to play the Pepsi-Cola Chicago Cubs home run countdown game. Match the number on Pepsi caps or inside the bottom of Pepsi cans to the number of Cubs home runs hit by All-Star break. You can win a lot of money or a car, so start playing today. Good fastball for a strike. Count evens at 1-1. There's the bunt. Shea quickly fires to first and gets him.
Look at the bunt attempt by Backman. Shea, playing him close anyway, was able to get to the ball quickly and thaw him out. I want to pass along a happy anniversary wish to a pair of great Cub fans, Glenn and Dorothy Kyleman.
Hernandez is 1 for 2. Flying to left field in the first inning. Drove in a run with a single in the fourth. His 30th RBI of the year. Just over the 300 mark. He looks at a high breaking ball. He has an unusual stance. He keeps his hands way away from his body. But like all hitters, they have to come back to the hitting position. Watch his arms. That one was on off umpire Randy March. Doesn't matter where hitters set up. We've seen some very unusual stances this year.
So much of that has to do with rhythm for a hitter. You know, he can start with his hands back, but he just might not feel as comfortable or have the same rhythm if he starts with them. In the case of Hernandez, out, he brings them back, and that starts the whole motion.
You remember John Kruk from San Diego has his hands way above his head. But as the pitch is on the way to the plate, they all bring their hands back down into the hitting position.
Example of just what we were talking about, a hitter in that rhythm. He comes back, and every bit of Keith Hernandez met this pitch as he hit it out.
Home run number 5 for Hernandez. And he is well appreciated here in New York. Comes out for a curtain call. What a difference he's meant to this ball club. When he came over here, they were struggling. He solidified their infield. He's the best glove in that infield. And year after year, he comes through with the big hits, the tough RBIs, and the game-winning RBIs. Darryl Strawberry 0 for 1 with a base on balls. High breaking ball. Strawberry leads this team in game-winning RBIs with 10. High ball well hit to right, but plenty of room for Keith Moreland. Makes the catch. He hit that ball one-handed.
He did. He got under the ball a little bit too much, and you're right. He hit it. All the power was with his arms right there, as opposed to the ball that Hernandez hit out. He had everything behind that one.
Gary Carter grounded into a double play, hit a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. Every pitch is like the World Series against the Mets. Every hitter is a tough hitter. Every out a tough one to come by. You can't relax. They keep putting the pressure on you. And they're a good enough executing team to win the close ball games. Good fastball for a strike. George Foster on deck. Carter, very powerfully built. Team leader, great defensive catcher. Hit 32 home runs last year with 100 RBIs. 281 batting average. tied with 59 home runs apiece. 1-1 count on Carter.
That was the 10th home run given up by Scott Sanderson this year.
Sanderson due up second in the 7th inning. Line drive to left, base hit. Falling in front of Matthews. He'll get the ball back in, and Carter has the 6th Met hit.
Pitch is up. Carter lines it into left. Now here's a guy coming up that you don't want to throw a bad breaking ball to, because he can hit it a mile.
George Foster came up, like so many hitters, was just a dead fastball hitter. But as he's gotten older, he started to take the ball to right field, and he's become a better breaking ball hitter. Outfield straight away. They used to play him entirely to pull. He's 0 for 2 tonight. There's the breaking ball fouled back, and Foster didn't miss that by much. That's where you make your most mistakes. As the game rolls along, it seems like you'll hang the breaking ball a lot more. You're not getting the same rotation on it. You have to be that much more careful with the curveball. You have to make sure it's away from the hitters.
And all of that goes hand in hand with tiring as the game progresses. You're just not as strong to pull the window shade on that curveball.
And the bullpen busy for the Cubs. 0-1 count on Foster. High ball, center field, well hit, but Jerry Mumphrey has room. So the Mets get a run on 2 hits. They leave one. Harry's coming back for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Dwayne, it's been interesting.
All right, we'll see you later.
End of 6, 3-2 Mets.
With Steve Stone, Harry Caray back at Shea Stadium, where the Mets now have taken the lead on Keith Hernandez's line drive home run. The only hope on Hernandez's ball was it was hit so hard it might not get up high enough to clear the wall, but it did. Here's Mumphrey. Fastball outside. Mumphrey's walked. Single to center with what should have been an RBI. But Mookie Wilson threw out Jody Davis trying to score. There's the strike on the outside corner at the knee. A ball and a strike. We're in the 7th. High ball 2. Fernandez has walked 5. And he's fanned 5. He's given up 3 hits all in the 4th inning. Now the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled out of play. Yankees have taken the lead at Toronto, 2-1 in the 6th. Baltimore leading the Red Sox 6-2 in the 6th. Detroit and Milwaukee, no score in the 4th. Now the pitch, here it is. High outside. Seattle leading at Chicago 5-2 in the 4th. California leading Kansas City 3-0 in the 3rd. Cleveland and Minnesota, no score in the 4th. There's a high pop foul out of play. In the National League, St. Louis leading the Phillies 7-1 in the 6th. Montreal over Pittsburgh 5-2 in the 6th. Cincinnati won the first game of a doubleheader from Atlanta 6-4. Second game just underway. There's a long drive. Mookie Wilson going way back at the warning track, and he makes the catch. Jerry Mumphrey hit that ball about 400 feet. But Mookie Wilson made the catch easily.
And that's going to be it for Scott Sanderson. Davey Lopes in the on-deck circle. Gene Michael doesn't know how many more shots he's going to get at Sid Fernandez. So Ray Fontenot warming up, ready to go in the bullpen. And there you take a look at Davey Lopes, hitting .274 this year. 0 for 6 with an RBI as a pinch hitter.
Davey Lopes trying to get something going. The Cubs are trailing. Sanderson allowed 6 hits, 3 runs in the 6 innings he worked. Fernandez has allowed only 3 hits.
Fernandez only has 1 complete game in 12 starts. That the last time out against Pittsburgh. He threw a 3-hitter. Only gave him 1 run.
He's got another 3-hitter going so far tonight. Now to wind up the pitch to David Loeb. 1 ball, no strikes. Same 2 teams tomorrow afternoon. No television, though. Popped it up on the infield. Easy out. Backman is there, and he grabs it. Lopes batting for Sanderson. Popped out to Backman. Here's the leadoff man. There's Roger McDowell.
You can always tell a pitcher's stuff by how many hits he gives up per 9 innings. Fernandez, one of the best in baseball, 5.25 hits per 9 innings.
Roger McDowell, who's 6-2 as a relief pitcher, getting ready to come on in. Here's the pitch to Dunston, and the curve is inside. McDowell not only has 6 victories, but 5 saves. He's had a hand in 11 victories of the Mets. There's the pitch popped up. Easy out. The left fielder Foster's there to retire the side. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. We move to the bottom of the 7th. 3-2 Mets. Caray back at Shea Stadium. Ray Fondo is going to be the new pitcher here, Steve.
There you take a look at Ray. 2-2, 2.10 ERA, making his 25th appearance. He's finished 8 of those with 1 save. In 30 innings, he's given up 26 hits and 7 earned runs on 2 homers. He's walked 12. He's struck out 12.
Well, for the Cubs have a chance, the way that Fernandez is pitching. Fondo's going to have to hold him. He's got Ray Knight, Kevin Mitchell, and Sid Fernandez coming up in that order in the bottom of the 7th.
The Mets have been so very tough on left-handers, 22-6 this year. Ray will have to keep his good sinker down. He's been throwing the ball very well lately.
Knight swings at the first pitch, a fly ball to right field. Coming over forward, Moore. He can't reach it. It rolls to the wall. Here's McKnight on his way to third base, standing up with a triple. Boy, that was just a high fly ball. Moreland ran as fast as he could, but just never could reach it.
Ball slicing away from Moreland. Here you see him come over. The ball hits the grass and then bounds away from him, rattles around in the corner for a while. And even though Ray Knight does not run well, he runs well enough for a triple.
So there's a runner at third base with nobody out. And here's Kevin Mitchell, who's 1 out of 2. Infield is in. The fastball is in. 1 ball, no strikes.
The first triple of the year for Ray Knight.
The outfield plays deep. A bouncing ball foul. And the count is evened up at a ball and a strike. Kevin Mitchell, a barrel-chested young man with big arms. He's strong. Cincinnati trying for a double dip over Atlanta tonight. There's a fastball high, ball 2.
Mitchell's knocked in 16 runs this year in only 110 at-bats. So they've got tremendous production out of him. And he can hit the ball a long way.
A high pop foul out of play. There's a couple celebrating their first wedding anniversary. Patty and Dylan Delicato. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Infield in. Whoa, a wild pitch. Here's the run going to score. Looked like Fondo was trying to drive him back. Threw the ball away.
Second wild pitch of the year for Ray Fontenot, and Kevin Mitchell was hard-pressed to get out of the way of this. Take another look at it. He actually throws the ball behind him. No chance for Jody Davis, and the run scores easily.
And now it's 4-2 Mets. Kevin Seapak from Schererville, Indiana. There's Mookie Wilson talking with Ray Knight. Now Mitchell with a count of 3-2. Walks. That'll bring up the pitcher. We're going to have a pinch hitter.
For the Mets, batting for pitcher Sid Fernandez.
Ed Hearn.
Ed Hearn.
There you look at the yearly statistics for Ed Hearn. As a pinch hitter, 0 for 1. And he's one of the backup catchers. And if you're a backup catcher to Gary Carter, you don't get in much work. Barry Lyons and Ed Hearn are the 2 backups for Gary Carter.
Hearn hitting .276. 1 homer and 3 RBIs. Four to 2, the Mets are leading. Bill Hedberg from Barry, Vermont. Formerly of North Riverside. On hand to pull for the Cubs. The runner back. Ken and Ellen Wieselman from Highland Parker here. Cubs have a lot of fans, but very few runs. There's the ball bunted. Fontenot's only play first base. Wild throw! Here comes a runner around third, racing for the plate. Safe. What a terrible play by Fontenot.
He gets the bunt and looks to second base, thinking he had a play there. Then when he looked back to first, Harry, it looked like he thought Bob Davidson might have been Sandberg. Davidson was closer to the ball than Sandberg was. Let's watch it again. He looks at second, no play there. Then he throws to first, and Davidson's in fair territory, and I think he mistook him for Sandberg, but threw the ball well down the line.
Here comes Gene Michael out, the manager of the Cubs. Fontenot's debut in this game was terrible. A leadoff triple that really was not all his fault. It was a high fly ball. You've seen a lot of people catch those kind, but it happened to drop and went for a triple. Then a wild pitch allowed him to score. A walk to Mitchell. Now he has scored on a sacrifice and an error by Fontenot. Michael walks back off the diamond, and Fontenot will be pitching to Mookie Wilson, who's a switch hitter in the infield coming in. And Mookie's been known to squeeze runs in quite frequently.
Larry, there's no no mystery why this ball club's in first place. Every time they've been called upon to execute tonight, they've executed perfectly. Down to the throw by Mookie Wilson, cutting down Jody Davis at home plate.
A high hopper. Dunston will throw him out. The runner holds third. Mookie Wilson on the first pitch. Bounce to Dunston. Hearn held up at third. And now we're going to have another pinch hitter coming out. Teufel, who's being platooned with Wally Backman. Tim Teufel, formerly of the Minnesota Twins.
Tim is hitting .250. 1 for 5 with a home run and 5 RBIs as a pinch hitter. He's provided some big hits for the Mets.
Tim Teufel, the batter. That's going to be all for Fontenot. Michael coming out. We're going to have a new pitcher here. This is Michael's second appearance out in the inning. And we'll be back following this message. The other second baseman for the Mets. Between Wally Backman, who's a real spark plug, and Teufel, who can hurt you with his bat, they're well protected around the infield. Baller kicking around on the mound.
Baller 2-4, 4.31 ERA. He was very effective as a short reliever in the absence of Lee Smith, but since being moved back to the middle, he's had his problems. He's been in 34 ball games, got 5 saves in 48 innings pitched. He's given up 47 hits, 23 earned runs on 4 homers. He's walked 24. He's struck out 38.
Fontenot faced 4 men, retired only 1 of them. A triple, a wild pitch, a walk, an error by Fontenot, and an infield out. So with 1 away, there's a runner at third. The Mets are leading 5-2. McDowell, Roger McDowell, will be coming in. For the Mets to open the 8th.
Davey Johnson and Frank Cascia knew this ball club didn't need an overhauling last year when they finished second. They knew they needed just some minor tinkering. So they brought up Kevin Mitchell. They traded for Tim Teufel. They brought in Bob Ojeda from Boston. So a few spare parts here, another pitcher there. And now this ball club looks like a powerhouse.
Teufel is stepping into the batter's box. Very young-looking gentleman. He'll be 28 next month. At Minnesota last year, he hit .260 with 10 homers. The infield is in. Line in the right field. It's in there. A looper for a base hit. Here's Teufel on his way to second with a double. Balor's first pitch was hit to right for 2 bases. And Hearn has scored.
RBI number 20 for Tim Teufel. He inside outs this ball. They now have 29 RBIs out of their second base position, combined Wally Backman and Tim Teufel. And the Mets are doing everything right.
6-2 now. Cubs led 2-0, but very briefly. They took the lead in the top of the 4th, and before you could savor it, the Mets had come back to tie it. Hernandez's home run put them ahead in the 6th, and now they've added 3 more. Hernandez takes a strike call. Hernandez drove in their first run, and then the run that put them ahead. There's a pitch low. Tonight is only one ball game, but on basis of what you've seen so far tonight, there's no comparing these two ball clubs. There's a long drive center field. Mumphrey way back. Makes the catch. Tuffle now is going to advance after the catch. Hernandez in a real groove tonight. He's hit the ball hard every time up.
Now batting, the right fielder, Strawberry.
They keep throwing fastball after fastball, don't they?
Well, they're not going to be able to throw a fastball by Keith Hernandez. Not too often, as Scott Sanderson found out. And now they're going to walk Darryl Strawberry. No sense taking a chance with him. But there's not much of a let-up with Gary Carter on deck. Rick Aguilera now throwing in the bullpen for the Mets.
So Gary Carter will be coming up with runners at first and third. Strawberry is his second walk tonight. He was called out on strikes and he flied out. Carter drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the fourth. That tied up the ball game.
Catcher, Gary Carter.
Our first base cameraman is Lenny Wexler, whose dad, Joseph Wexler, is watching the game in Newport Richey, Florida. Well, we'll tell his dad that his son is doing a good job on the camera. Carter got out of the way. $44,817 paid. A total of $46,531 here. Ooh, what a rip he had. A ball and a strike. There's a good shot from the center field camera. There's a drive way back. It might be. It is. Oh, home run. Holy cow. That's a fourth RBI of the night for Carter, who now has a total of 48. Also his 13th home run of the year. And
So
now it's 9-2.
The strategy backfires. A fastball right there. Gary Carter just mashes this ball. No doubt about it.
They want Gary Carter to come out. And he does. And what was a close ball game for 5 innings and then for 6 innings has become a rout in the 7th. 9-2 Mets. Two balls, no strikes on George Foster. The Mets have scored 9 runs on 9 hits. 3 balls, no strikes. They walked him. What in the world has happened to this young man?
Harry, when
He looked so good last year.
Well, as a short reliever this year, he threw pretty well. When they moved him back in long relief, I don't know what happened to him. He seemed to have lost his concentration or confidence. When he was the man, he had 5 saves. But as a setup man, he just hasn't done the job.
Here's a pitch a little low outside. Knight started this inning with that fly ball triple to right. Jody Davis out talking to Ballard. There's a long drive, but that'll be caught. Mumphrey is back, and he grabs it. So 10 men batted, 6 of them scored. At the end of 7, the Mets 9, the Cubs 2. Let's pause here for station identification.
This is your sports station for the Quad Cities, WQAD-TV, Moline.
Now pitching for the Mets, number 42.
Harry Caray back at Shea Stadium where the Mets now lead 9-2. Roger McDowell was had a great season for the Mets in relief. A perfect record of 6-0 comes in to end the game.
There you look at Roger McDowell, 2.32 ERA, making his 31st appearance. He's finished 16 of those with 5 of the 16 Mets saves. 54 1/3 innings, 42 hits on 14 earned runs. Has not allowed a home run yet. He's walked 18, struck out 36.
We have some changes for the Mets now. Besides McDowell, Tuffle stays in the ballgame at second base. Lenny Dykstra is playing center field. Mookie Wilson moves over to left. George Foster leaves the game. McDowell is sinker baller out of Cincinnati.
He's got a good hard sinker and a slider to go with it, and he keeps the ball down.
He's only 25 years old. They got a good combination of a lot of youth spotted with good veterans. Fellows like Carter and Hernandez and Foster. Then guys who've been around even though they're young, like Strawberry and Backman. A bouncing ball. Knight's throw bounces. It's a bad throw. See what they're going to call it. He would have had the Sarge with a good throw.
It's a bad throw if Hernandez can't scoop it out of the dirt. He's one of the best in the league at this. But the ball just gets by him. And we'll have to wait for the official score.
An error on the throw by Knight.
McDowell is a rarity because he didn't have this good sinker till he had his elbow operated.
There's a good fastball in there, a strike called. 25-year-old Roger McDowell makes his home. In Mississippi, there's a drive by Sandberg deep to right, and a fine play by Strawberry. Sandberg lines hard to Strawberry and right.
This young man just gets better by the game. Strawberry came up with a great bat. Now he's adding a great glove to that. And he throws as well as any right fielder in baseball.
Boy, there's about as good an outfield defensively. Mookie Wilson can run, go get the ball. Len Dykstra, who's just as good defensively as Mookie. And Strawberry, who has tremendous speed, covers a lot of ground.
Left-hander warming in the pen, Randy Neiman.
There's a fastball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Yankees are leading at Toronto 3-1 in the 8th. Baltimore over the Red Sox 6-3 in the 7th. Jody Davis swung and he missed. Angels leading at Kansas City in a big series 4-0 in the 5th. Cleveland and Minnesota no score in the 5th. White Sox batting in the 6th Seattle leading 5-2. Milwaukee 1-0 over to Detroit in the 7th. Cardinals are headed for victory in the National League at Philadelphia, leading 7-2 in the 8th. There's a base hit in the left field, and they're going to hold the Sarge at third base. Davis singles to left, and the bases are loaded with only one out.
McDowell gets the sinker up. Anytime that happens, the sinker ball pitcher's in trouble. Jody hits it right on the nose to left field, but they don't want to run on the arm of Mookie Wilson again. He's completely healed from all the shoulder problems he's had.
Here now is Durham facing a right-hander. He's 0 for 2, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Sinking fastball for a strike call.
Bull should have a pretty good swing at McDowell. He's not overpowering. He's not going to be able to get inside on him. He might be able to let him extend those arms and get a good cut.
Low and inside. That evens the count. 9-2, the Mets are leading. He had a cut, but he missed. 1-2 the count. One man out, bases loaded. If the Cubs are to make a run at it, the opportunity presents itself right here. He struck him out. A breaking ball.
This is the first breaking ball that Leon saw, and it's a dandy. Just disappearing out of the strike zone. And the Bull is completely fooled.
Ed Hearn giving Gary Carter a rest. All Carter did was drive in 4 runs, have 2 hits. Here's the Penguin now. A couple of fans are out on the field, and the gendarmes are converging on him. There's 3, 5 security men along with a ball girl who started across the line down in the left field corner. Just a momentary delay. I guess that'll cost him a couple $100 to get out of the pokey tonight.
They might look back on that and feel that it's not the smartest thing they've ever done.
Here's the Penguin. He drove in a run in the 4th, making it 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Back when the ball game was beautiful. Strike at the knees. Ed Hearn behind the plate. Roger McDowell on the mound. Ron Shea trying to get hold of one. Bouncing ball foul. He's in the hole. 0-2. Hearn is a big guy. About 6'4". Bases loaded, 2 out. 0-2 the count. Roger McDowell. Foul tipped it, still alive. There's the Sarge. The Mets have so much overall speed than the Cubs. 0-2 the count. almost hit him. 1-2.
Usually that inside fastball, as you look at it again, sets up the good breaking ball away. He struck out Leon Durham on a dandy. Let's see if he tries to get Ron Shea with it.
He's ready. I got it.
Well, it hit our TV monitor.
It didn't even knock us off the air. That ball wasn't hit very hard. There's Guy Hoffman in the bullpen. 1-2 the count. Bases are loaded. There's a high fly ball, easy out. Dykstra under the ball to retire the side. So the Cubs leave the bases stranded full, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. 9-2 Mets. Caray back at Shea Stadium. Davy Johnson, manager of the Mets, has written a book called Bats, written by Peter Golenbach, all about his career. Look forward to reading it.
All the bid players are falling into place for Davy Johnson. Len Dykstra hitting .319 this year. Done an outstanding job in the field also.
First pitch to him is in there for a strike call. They got a lot of scat bats. Fellows like Backman and Dykstra and Wilson. Little guys who really hustle. And they set the stage for the big men. Hernandez, Strawberry, Carter, and Foster. And now Ray Knight also. Look how young that Dykstra is. Bouncing ball. Now watch him run. He's thrown out. Dykstra is only 23. They're going to be a team to reckon with for a long time to come, boy. One out. Here's Ed Hearn, the catcher. He came in batting for Fernandez and sacrificed in the 7th and was safe when Fontenot threw the ball away. A ball and a strike. Hearn hitting .276. Ballard bounced that one up there. One and two the count. There's a high drive in the left, way back near the wall. And it's out of here. Ed Hearn. That's his second home run of the year. And now it's 10-2. Their first string catcher hits a 3-run homer. Their second string catcher hits a one-run homer. There he is.
Everything's rosy in New York. A high breaking ball. Ed Hearn takes it way back.
Mookie Wilson at the plate. Boy, Ballard has really been rocked. left center field wall. 2 are gone.
Next, second baseman, Tim Tuffle.
Here's Tim Tuffle. He drove in a run as a pinch hitter with a double to right in the 7th. In 1 2/3 innings, Baller has allowed 2 homers and a double and 4 runs. Tim Tuffle spells it T-E-U-F-E-L. Swings and he strikes out. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, no money left. At the end of 8, the Mets 10, the Cubs 2. With Steve Stone, Harry Caray back at Shea Stadium. What started out like a fine ball game has turned into a rout. The Mets, on 10 hits, 3 of which are homers, have scored 10 runs and lead 10-2. Mumphrey takes a strike. Ground ball to the second baseman. Tuffle kicks it. Tuffle throws him out. Mumphrey rolls to Tim Tuffle. 1 away. Let's see who the hitter's going to be. Bosley coming out.
Bosley hitting .280. 8 for 24. No home runs and 3 RBIs as a pinch hitter.
Bosley.
McDowell just finishing up the ball game. He cannot get a save. He had too big a lead when he took over. It'll be the 17th game he's finished this year. Boy, quite a record. He's been in 30 games, 6 victories, no losses, 5 saves. He's had a hand in 25% of their victories and none of their losses. Crowd thinned out considerably now as fans have gotten an early start for home. The Mets are leading 10-2. Jim Fry could have told Gene Michael that it was not going to be easy.
Now you know why George Steinbrenner holds press conferences periodically to blast his ball players, Harry. He's got to get some space on the sport pages here. This has been an outstanding club this year, this Met team.
1 out, nobody on. Bouncing ball foul. Thad Bosley. Pinch hitting for Baller. The best pitcher for the Cubs tonight was the loser. Sad state of affairs, isn't it? Full count of 3-2. He walked him, ball 4. I don't know whether it's been the big lead or what, but McDowell hasn't been as outstanding as his previous showing would indicate. Cincinnati's going to win a doubleheader over Atlanta. 1 out, 1 on. Here's Dunston. Playing before the home folks. He's 0 for 4 so far. Swung and he missed. A balk is called, and Bosley advances the second.
No hesitation once again. Umpires are watching that very closely. You have to hesitate for 1 count and then go home.
Boy, primarily, they're such a very young ball club, these Mets. There's a bouncing foul. Dunston 0 for 4 today.
You know, Harry, when Whitey did it last year, he did it with a lot of speed and a good offensive ball club. They had a pretty good defense, but this team has got the great pitching to go with all of that. They look like they're going to be around for a long time at the top.
Here's the pitch. He foul tips. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. They have power. They have punch. They have hitting up and down the lineup. They have speed. They have excellent pitching and good depth in their rotation. And they have a fine bullpen with a good left-hander in Orozco and a good right-hander in McDowell. Another balk. And boy, the plate umpire, Randy Marsh, didn't hesitate a bit. He called it right away.
The 3rd balk of the year for McDowell. Only 1 coming into the ball game.
The count is 0-2 on Dunston. Ground ball. He busted his bat. He'll drive in a run. And he beats it out for a hit. Dunston legged out a slow roller to the second baseman, Tim Tuffle, with Bosley scoring on the play.
Tuffle learned a valuable lesson. You can't sit back on Sean Dunston. He's going to be hustling down the line, and he beats it. So he gets himself an RBI and a base hit with pure hustle.
That's his 27th RBI of the year. Durham has only 29. And Dunston has as many homers, too. Each have 8. Here's Matthews 0 for 3 tonight. Ten to 3 now. The Mets are leading. Baltimore is ruining the night for the Red Sox at Fenway. Baltimore leading 10 to 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Kansas City trailing at home. The Angels out in front 6-0. Three balls, no strikes. One man out, a run in, a runner on. Cubs trailing by 7. Strike 2 call, and the count is full. A bouncing ball. Knight's got it. Throws the second out on a close play. Matthews forces Dunston from Knight to Tuffle.
Dunston hustling, just barely gets nipped at second base.
Here's Sandberg. 1 out of 3 has hit the ball on the nose every time up. He lined to center his first time, single to right in the 4th, walked in the 5th, lined hard to Strawberry in the 8th. Not a very happy looking dugout, right? Strike at the knee. Nobody likes to get beat. Curveball low to even the count. Yankees now lead at Toronto 6-2 in the 9th. Bounced it foul. In the 8th in Milwaukee, the Brewers hold a 1-0 lead over Detroit. Now the crowd, with 2 strikes on the hitter, begins to cheer. High and inside. The Cubs have waited until June the 20th to see the Mets. Foul tip. And I dare say they, as a team, have been very much impressed. Ninth inning, 10-3 Mets. McDowell taking a look around. This was anybody's ball game for 6 innings, but the roof caved in the 7th. A high pop foul. Hernandez near the stand. Mets win. The final score, the Mets 10, the Cubs 3. We'll be back with the totals in a moment.
And we'll be back with some final thoughts right after this.
Drive home.
And the big guys are driving them home.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you then.
Here are the totals now. It's 10 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. For the Mets, the winner is Sid Fernandez. He is now 8-2. There's no save involved. The game-winning hit belongs to Keith Hernandez. It was his 5th of the year. Gary Carter had 4 RBIs today. For the Cubs, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Their losing pitcher is Scott Sanderson. He now has won 3 and lost 5. Same 2 teams tomorrow here. We will not televise. There'll be no television in Chicago of that game, but we'll be covering it on WGN Radio. Then we'll be back for the finale Sunday right here on Channel 9. Win or lose or tie, I'm a Cub fan and I'm a Bud man, and I hope you are too. With Steve Stone, Harry Caray, wishing you all a very pleasant good night from Shea Stadium, where the Mets have walloped the Cubs 10-3. So long, everybody.